Welcome back to the Brandon Parnes Hour of Fun. I am here on Skype with Justin Flom.
What's up?
He is a magician on the show Wizard Wars on Sci-Fi. The new season premieres this Thursday, the 29th at 9 o'clock Central.
Yep, 9 Central, 10 o'clock if you're on the coasts. And I am so pumped for you guys to see the new episodes. We really worked hard on these episodes.
Yeah, and I watched all last season. I was so excited, so hyped. I watched the original video, which you can find on YouTube. It's just crazy how it's really like Iron Chef for magic.
That's right. In fact, the original working title was Iron Magician. That was, when we were just talking about it being a YouTube video. So for season 1 on Sci-Fi, it was just exciting that we took a YouTube video from my channel and made it a TV show. And it was, Ricky Lax's idea, and everybody from Bizarro to Kyle Marlette was involved.
And Jimmy Fingers.
Yeah, and Jimmy Fingers. It was great. And to take a YouTube video, make a TV show, that's really cool. But the first season had a lot of kinks that we had to work out and figure out, how do we make this the best magic possible for TV? And I think in these next episodes that are going to air, 6 brand new episodes, I'm really proud of them. I'm really proud we get to teach a magic trick every episode. We get to do something cool from the wizards or the judges every episode. In addition to the challengers and the battles, the war.
Yeah, well, just from that 30-second preview, it looks bigger and better, and you have Billy Kidd.
Yes.
This time replacing Angela Funovitz. Is there any reason why Angela didn't come back? Or
So Angela's a doctor. So she's a legitimate dermatologist doctor, which is crazy to me because I'm imagining somewhere one of her patients watching television and being like, is that Dr. Funovitz? Because, she's also a practiced magician and mentalist. So she decided to go back and we decided that's fine. And we called up Billy Kidd, who impressed us so much.
The Maple Leaf.
Season 1.
That was amazing.
She didn't win in season 1, but she got to round 2.
Yeah.
And she was just polished and clever and so nice.
That Maple Leaf effect that she did with Leon Etienne blew my mind. It was just perfect.
It was really good. And, it was a bummer. I think if their rehearsal, because I got to see their rehearsal, if their rehearsal for round 2 had been the same as their performance, I think they would have won. Because their performance was just a little bit weaker than their actual rehearsal. Yeah. And that's just, that happens sometimes.
It happens with magic a lot.
The way that the license plate burned through was a little bit different than rehearsal, and some things didn't hit the same. That was one where I thought was definitely going to the challengers, but we were lucky as the Wizards. And now we're even more lucky to have Billy on our team. She's the best.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, you can buy that episode on iTunes along with all the other episodes of Wizard Wars on iTunes. I recommend it. It's a great show. We still have a lot more to talk about. Let's talk about your YouTube stuff, because your YouTube stuff is incredible. I remember it's like a rabbit hole. I remember one time thinking I've seen a lot of your videos. Then I find the one where you do a card story set to music, which was just because I've seen that type of premise before, but the fact that you use music really kind of threw me off, and it was amazing to watch. And so just tell us about your YouTube stuff, because you got to go youtube.com/Justin Flom.
Yeah. A couple of years ago, I was really trying to figure out what would really push me to the forefront and get me out there. I wanted as many people as possible to see my magic, and Rick Lax, who, co-creator of Wizard Wars, really the creator of Wizard Wars.
He's great. I've been trying to get him on the show.
Why don't you just do good tricks? I don't understand. Just do lots of it, put it all online. I don't understand. He almost like I was an idiot for not just doing more. And he was right. So that year, which was I think 2012, we just did a ton of videos, starting with this thing called Soldiers, a deck of cards, and then all the way through to my first Magic road trip and my first Magic block party and Wizard Wars. So we ended up, by the end of the year, with couple really great concepts that we've repeated and gotten to do new versions of. Magic Road Trip we just did with Florida Georgia
I
Line,
saw
the
some of
big
those.
country music act,
Yeah.
and then Magic Block Party. We've done 3 of them.
They are
Uh,
great videos, and
yeah,
if you can ever spin that off into a TV show, that's a great idea for a show. It really
I'd
is.
love to do a Magic Block Party TV show. That would be really, really cool.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's basically it. But you're talking about that back catalog before 2012 when I had some of the stuff from my live show,
Yeah.
like Card Hit Wonder, which
Card
was
Hit
this
Wonder. Yeah, that's
crazy
it.
mashup of music and sleight of hand, and some old comedy stuff that's either terrible or wonderful depending on who you ask. It's really old now.
Yeah.
When
I
look
just
back
saw
at
your
it.
hairstyle. It was old
That's right.
from
That's
the
right.
thumbnail.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, everything about. I'm embarrassed, but I keep those videos up because
It reminds you
they're
where you
funny
came
now.
from.
That's exactly right. And some of the YouTube stuff, YouTube has brought me everything at this point. You know, I was on Ellen DeGeneres because of YouTube.
Yeah, those were
Wizard
great
Wars
spots.
happened because of YouTube, and now, I can announce this here first. I haven't
Oh
even
my
put
God,
it on my website
we're
yet.
getting an exclusive. I never thought
Yes.
in a dream. This is only the third
Exclusive
episode.
news.
This is only the third episode of the show, and we're already getting an exclusive here.
Boom! Exclusive news. I will be opening for Florida Georgia Line on their arena tour this summer.
Oh my
Starting
God,
in February, actually.
that is amazing! An exclusive here. Again, to repeat, because that's what we do in radio. Justin Flom will be opening for Florida Georgia Line on their arena tour starting in February. That is a huge gig.
Yeah, you know, because they'll be playing places like Madison Square Garden and things like that, and I'm supposed to do Magic to open the show and get people warmed up and ready before the band comes out, and that's a crazy challenge to do Magic in an arena because most of the Magic I do, you know, is just with a pack of cards, and I'll be doing that with, you know, tricks with Coca-Cola and beer and T-shirts and that sort of stuff. But in an arena, it's going to be that's a challenge.
There was one magician who did it on a Demi Lovato tour, but I think you're just going to hit it out of the park.
I hope so. I really hope so. Yeah, I don't know how it went for the other magician on Demi's tour. I hope it went well.
I think it went okay because he was a little bit younger. He was more closer to the people actually going to see the show, and I think you have a nice advantage with because you're probably closer to the people seeing a Florida Georgia Line show as opposed to a Demi Lovato show.
Yeah. So hopefully it'll be a cool experiment. We'll see if it crashes and burns.
Yeah, I don't think it will. Quickly, I want to talk about Band of Magicians.
Yeah.
I have not gotten a chance to see it because it has not been in the U.S. It's only been in Australia last year and this year. Just quickly, give us an idea of what Band of Magicians is about.
Absolutely. Well, basically, James Galea, who's this great magician from Australia.
I love James Galea.
And he's got a really cool story deck, and he's been on Ellen DeGeneres a couple times, and he thought, boy, it would be really fun to do a show with my good friends, and we always, you know, you get stories talking during a show, the crazy things that happen, and you want to laugh about them with the people closest to you. And you never get to do that if you're a solo performer. Your nights are always spent alone in a hotel room on the road. So he pitched just his really his favorite magicians is what he kind of said. And it was me and Justin Willman and Nate Staniforth. And we got together over dinner in L.A. and said this would be a cool thing. Well, what do we call it? And Band of Magicians is what came out of that dinner in Hollywood. And we wrote a show that we didn't want it to be like some of the other shows that are out there where it's just everybody doing their best bit.
Like The Illusionist or something like that.
Yeah, we wanted to create some four-man material and some material that's really new, because that's what we love, is we love new magic, new material. Because I get bored doing Lifesavers and Oreo all the time. I love those tricks, but you know, I want to do new stuff. So I'm always working on new things. So what we were able to do with this is create an illusion where James is on the piano and Nate is over doing sleight of hand on a table, and his hands are in frame on camera the whole time. And then all of a sudden, the camera pans up, and now it's James who's doing the sleight of hand, and it goes all the way to the other side of the stage, and there's Nate on the piano playing the
Wow.
music. And the music never stopped, and the sleight of hand never stopped, and that's just a killer trick. The audience would lose their minds every time, and we did a fun 4-person newspaper tear,
I
each in a
saw a
different
little
style.
bit of clip. I saw a little bit of clip of that, and Justin was like, "I didn't learn the trick."
Yeah, it was great. And this year we switched it up completely, and we each did it in the style that we were raised. So I did it as a grand, dramatic illusionist, like Job from Arrested Development.
Yeah.
Justin did it as a cheesy comedy magician. Like he would say, what did Sushi A say to Sushi B?
Well, Justin, I hate to cut you off, but we will be right back with more Justin Flom. Sorry to cut off Justin there, but we are back with the Brandon Parnes Hour Fun. So, Justin, you were talking about how Band of Magicians did it in the style they were raised.
Yeah, we each do a newspaper tear in the style that we grew up performing. So I'm a dramatic illusionist. Justin was cheesy comedy. Nate was kind of the Bob Dylan of magic, wanted to inspire social change. And James Galea grew up as a clown. So it was pretty funny to see me tear the newspaper dramatically, like some David Coppertone, and Justin tell a joke and tear, and then Nate give some piece of poetry, and then James tear the newspaper to a fart sound effect. It was pretty great. I love that stuff.
Oh my God! So we're having another 10 minutes with Justin right now. So I have some Twitter questions. We asked our listeners, and Justin retweeted the tweet to ask anything for Justin. So right now, from @BryceMagic, how did you turn magic into a full-time career?
It's a great question. I'm an all or nothing kind of guy, so I didn't know how to do magic unless it was full time. So right out of high school, I decided not to go to college, and I moved to Branson, Missouri, this little showbiz town, so that I could perform every single day doing a show. And that was my place to really be bad. So the advice I usually give to performers is I go find a place to suck. And I really mean that honestly, to find a place where you can do 100 shows a year, just 1,000 shows, and get your flight time and just be bad, because that's what will kind of help you find who you are. I mean, I used to think I was a comedy magician, and then it really took a little bit, and I realized I'm not that funny. There's funny things that happen in the performance, but for the most part, I'm going to try and do just amazing magic. So the first thing I did was to find a place to perform every single day, and then came the big step where my wife and I took 1 year and didn't take any jobs, didn't take any cruise ships or colleges or any of that sort of stuff, and instead just did YouTube videos and just pitched the television show Wizard Wars. And at the end of that year, we had made like hardly any money, and it was a real struggle. But what comes out of that is the last year or so has been a lot better, with more opportunities and places to share the magic.
And you are who I call a WTF magician. When I see something that you do, I go WTF, because that's like Justin Willman does very funny, kind of ingenious type of magic. You do stuff where it's like, I didn't even think of that, and I wish I did.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. I have a commitment to that kind of magic, and it really pushing to try and create that kind of magic. And it sucks sometimes because there's easy routes to take, and I kind of refuse to take them.
Yeah.
And instead I'll work really hard on, how do I put sugar inside of somebody's dollar bill? or something silly like that.
Yeah. And you
Which
just
is
work to make
just
it happen.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, another one, maybe you can answer this. I don't know what this means. Um, at Robbie Selwinski asked, "Are you ever gonna sell that water come trick?"
I think it's water to Coke. I don't want to do
Water.
the other version. I think it's a typo.
Okay, water to come. So
Yeah, the water to Coke.
yeah,
You know, it's difficult. I wish I could sell all of my magic because I love sharing magic like that. But the amount of energy that it takes to so I sold one trick once, the Mona Lisa
card
art
artistry.
artistry. Yeah,
It's a great
and
trick.
I sold it to the magic community, and it was really cool because I had never been on TV before to see Justin Willman
Yeah,
do that trick on Ellen. But at the end of the day, the amount of work that went into it and the amount of effort that goes into filming it and selling it and putting it out uh, was just not worth it for me. I
yeah.
wanted to,
Just put the magic out there and let people kind of.
yeah, I want to perform it, and I want to get it out there, and that's a difficult thing. So I usually try to encourage the people who ask me to sell the sort of things. I go, well, I think you'll probably come to an effect on your own
That fits you.
if you really just sit down and really find these concepts and things that are around us, because all magic is using existing things, just loopholes in the universe,
Yeah,
whether it be a scientific principle or a psychological thing or an old body trick where it feels like something. Magic harnesses that and then hides it under a bunch of shade, a bunch of misdirection, and now you have a magic trick.
yeah,
So if that kind of makes sense, that's the way I would create something like water to Coca-Cola, and
yeah.
then rather than sell it, I'd say try and find something like that for yourself to find and create. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes complete sense. And one more question from at Chris Shepard. I know Chris. Do you know Chris?
I don't. Maybe I do.
Successful performer cast.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. Friend of mine. He said, ask him about your approach to creativity.
That was I was just talking about it there. It's beautiful. It's a good segue. Creativity is applying something from another industry to your own. So you might look and go, oh my gosh, Zach King on Vine did this camera trick with this thing where he made juice turn into Skittles. And you just be like, wow, that's really cool that he did that as a camera trick. How can I do that as a magic trick? How can I find the sleight of hand in order to do that? Other things are taking something you see in the X-Men movies or in a Superman movie and go, wow, that's really cool. How can I take that, harness that for magic?
Yeah.
So creativity is just kind of keeping your mind open to everything that you love out there, outside of magic, and applying it to magic. But for me, it's important to look outside of magic at music and film and your friends.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we have about 3 minutes left. This is just amazing. You are our very first guest on the Brandon Parnes Hour Fun. I'm so honored. I wanted Justin Willman, but he's on his tour right now. But I'm so happy I got you. You are, and it's amazing. And Wizard Wars again, Wizard Wars.
Yeah.
This Thursday, 9:00 Central here on Sci-Fi.
And the first episode will be, what is it? It's they've put up the explanation. So 2 really good friends of mine are on the episode. Bill Cook, this magician from Chicago. He actually works for Da Bears.
But wasn't he on the Make Believe documentary?
Yes.
Yeah,
wow,
I recognize them.
Good of you. Yeah, exactly. He was on Make Believe, and killed it on there. And I was very happy that we got him on Wizard Wars. And he does a thing. I can't give away what the object is or anything, but he does a thing with fire that just blew my mind. It was so great. And then another good friend of mine, Greg Dow, who outside of Wizard Wars he goes as the Shocker, and he did some really great magic. Just that was maybe the best competition we've had, and the people who make it through, and no spoilers, obviously. It was a really tough decision
But judges, of course.
for the judges,
Yeah.
because
Penn and Teller being two of
yeah,
them.
I think what they said was if either of those teams had been in another episode, they would win. But being battled against each other, it's a really tough call. So I'm really proud of the episode that airs first. It's a good episode, and I'm not even in it that much.
Well, we're about to wrap up. Justin, where can we find you on the social media platform plateau?
On Twitter, Instagram, and my new favorite, Snapchat. Find me just at Justin Flom. JustinFlom. And YouTube.com/Justin Flom is where you'll find all the video content we work really hard on. But snap me. I usually snap people back, and it's a lot of fun.
And you can always find me at MKABOBO and at BP Hour of Fun on Twitter. Again, thank you to Justin Flom for being here.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. I love this.
And come back anytime. I mean that sincerely. I know some talk shows say, hey, come back anytime. I mean it. I mean it. And is Florida Georgia Line coming to Kansas City at all?
I don't know. I got to look at the schedule.
We will look it up, and we will update you on next week's episode, tomorrow's episode, actually. Again, thank you to Justin Flom. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it so much. This has been the Brandon Parnes Hour of Fun. We will see you tomorrow here on ECAV Radio.